On one of the busiest streets of New York City, Chief Sarah Bennett was walking in plain clothes, wearing jeans and a jacket, when she saw Officer Mike and some other police personnel bullying an elderly woman, Mrs. Higgins, and her young daughter. They were overturning their fruit stand. The elderly woman pleaded with folded hands, "Sir, please don't do this. This shop is the only way we can afford 2 meals a day." But the cruel Officer Mike was in no mood to listen. Instead, he shouted angrily, "There is no permit to set up a stall here. If I see the 2 of you doing business here after today, I'll throw you inside a jail cell." Saying this, they got on their patrol bikes and left. Seeing this scene, Chief Sarah's face hardened. However, without rushing, she approached the mother and daughter. The elderly mother was still sitting on the street, and the daughter, trembling with fear, was trying to help her mother up. Sarah asks gently, "Ma'am, what happened? Why were those officers treating you like that?" Mrs. Higgins said in an angry tone, "Go away. What will you do? What's the point of knowing?" Sarah said, "Ma'am, I will help you. Please tell me, why were they doing that?" Mrs. Higgins said with a trembling voice, "Why are you mocking our poverty, child? If big officers couldn't help us, how can you? God has written this fate for us. Please leave." Sarah wanted to reveal her identity, but stopped after thinking for a moment and walked away. Sometime later, at the same spot, the mother and daughter were sitting beside their broken stall. The mother was still wiping her tears, and the daughter silently picking up the scattered fruits. Just then, a young man named John approached them. He said, "Ma'am, I've heard a new police chief has come to our city. Her name is Sarah Bennett. She is very strict, but helps ordinary people from her heart. If you want, you can go to her office. I've heard she doesn't let anyone be humiliated like this." Mrs. Higgins said in a tired voice, "Son, I've seen many officers. Who listens to us?" John replied seriously, "Ma'am, just try meeting her once. People say she lives a simple life like us and walks among the crowds of the city. You will believe it when you see it yourself." The mother and daughter looked at each other. A faint glimmer of hope appeared on the daughter's face. Then one day, the elderly mother and her daughter reached Chief Bennett's office at police headquarters. There was fear on their faces and tears in their eyes. As soon as their gaze fell on Chief Bennett, both the mother and daughter were stunned. They felt as if they might faint. Sarah Bennett was sitting across the table in a dark blue police uniform. Her face was serious, but her eyes held confidence. Chief Sarah Bennett asked them to sit. "Come in, ma'am. Sit down. I saw the injustice done to you yesterday with my own eyes, and it pained me greatly." Mrs. Higgins said, "Please forgive me, ma'am. I didn't recognize you yesterday. You came to help us, and I, being unfortunate, behaved badly with you." Sarah said, "It doesn't matter, ma'am. Don't say such things. I'm like your daughter." Hearing this, tears came to the old woman's eyes. She revealed, "Ma'am, when we set up our stall on the street to sell fruit, Officer Mike comes to take fruit and leaves without paying a single dollar. When we protest, he says he will put me and my daughter in jail. And he says if I want him to pay for the fruit, I have to send my daughter to him for one night." Hearing this, Sarah Bennett was shocked. Her eyes turned red with rage. She asked in a grave voice, "Why didn't you file a report against them?" Mrs. Higgins said, "Ma'am, we went to the precinct to file a complaint. The desk sergeant pushed me and my daughter out and said if we came to file a report again, he would put both mother and daughter in jail. He chased us away. Officer Mike got the news that we had gone to the station. That's why, in anger, he came with some police, destroyed our fruit cart, and beat us." Sarah said angrily, "I will do something to them that no one has ever done before." She told the old woman, "You go now. I will meet you downtown tomorrow." The next morning, Sarah wore a simple hoodie and jeans. No makeup, no badge. Dressed simply, she went to the mother and daughter's stall and said, "You go home. Today I will sell the fruit." The mother asked in surprise, "But ma'am, why will you do this? What will people say?" Chief Sarah said, "Ma'am, I need to teach a lesson to those thugs hiding behind the uniform. so let me sell fruit today and you go home and rest." The mother and daughter went home. Chief Sarah stood by the stall. There were many fruits arranged on it. A short while later, Officer Mike arrived there on his police motorcycle. Stopping the bike, he looked with a sharp gaze and said, "What's the matter? You here? An old woman and her daughter used to be here. Where did they run off to? Who are you? Are you new?" Sarah, still standing like an ordinary girl, said softly, "I am her relative, so today I am managing the shop in her place." Officer Mike gave a disgusting smile and said, "Is that so? You look even prettier than them." Then he looked her up and down and said, "Anyway, give me a bag of apples and some grapes too." Sarah weighed the fruit without any reaction and silently handed it to him. As Officer Mike was about to start his bike with the fruit, Sarah said firmly, "Wait, you haven't paid for the fruit yet. Give me the dollars. This won't do." Officer Mike got angry and said, "What dollars? I take it for free every day. Ask your relatives. They don't say anything, and don't talk too much in front of me." He was about to leave. Sarah shouted, "Just as my mother buys fruit, your mother didn't buy it from me. We also have to spend money to bring the fruit, and if we don't sell fruit one day, there will be no food in our house. People like you take fruit for free and kick us in the stomach, ruin our livelihood." Hearing this, the officer's face turned red with insult. He angrily told Sarah, "If you want me not to take it for free, then you have to spend a night with me." Upon hearing this, Sarah slapped him hard across the face. Officer Mike stumbled but steadied himself and in a rage grabbed Sarah by her jacket collar and slapped her back. Sarah said in an angry voice, "You have made a huge mistake by raising your hand against a woman. You will have to suffer the consequences." The officer shouted even more angrily, "You hit me? You have such audacity? I'll show you now." He pulled Sarah's hair. Although Sarah groaned in pain, she freed her hair and said, "This is very wrong. I will report you. You have behaved indecently with me. You will have to pay for this." But Officer Mike was intoxicated by the power of his position. He said, "You'll report me? You have such nerve? You are the daughter of a street beggar, and I am the officer of this district. I can arrest you right from here." Saying this, he started his bike and left. Sarah was trembling at first, but then she composed herself. She thought about how low this officer could stoop. After sitting by the stall for a while, she called the real owner and said, "You manage the shop now." As soon as the woman arrived, Sarah left quietly. She went home, changed her clothes, and wearing a yellow t-shirt and trousers, reached the precinct like an ordinary woman. Upon arriving at the station, she saw Officer Mike was not there. An officer was sitting at the desk. Sarah went straight to him and said, "I want to file a report against Officer Mike and Captain Anderson." The desk officer replied, "Officer Mike went home after duty and Captain Anderson is out on patrol. You can sit in the lobby for a while if you want." The fire of justice was burning in Sarah's eyes, and it was not going to be extinguished. After waiting in the station for a while, the door opened and Captain Anderson entered. Walking in with heavy steps, his eyes fell on the ordinary woman in yellow clothes, who was none other than the chief of police herself, Sarah Bennett. Captain Anderson asked in a harsh voice, "Who are you? Why have you come here?" Sarah said in a calm voice, "I need to file a report." Hearing this, Anderson laughed mockingly. "If you want to file a report, have you brought some expenses? It takes $200 to $300 to process a report here. If you brought it, take it out. Only then will I write your report." Hearing this, Sarah's face became serious. She said, "What money are you talking about? There is no fee to file a report. Why are you asking for a bribe?" Anderson laughed and said, "Who said your report will be written for free? Everyone who comes here gives a donation of their own will, and if they don't, their report isn't written. Now it's your choice." Sarah sighed deeply and said, "Okay, take this $100. Now write the report." Taking the money, Anderson asked, "Report against whom?" Sarah said seriously, "Against Officer Mike. He behaved indecently with a fruit-selling woman. He takes fruit from the stall without paying every day, and when I protested, he raised his hand against me. I want strict legal action against this." Captain Anderson's face fell. Fear was visible on his face. Nervous, he said, "He's a senior officer of our precinct, and besides, if someone gives something for free, what's wrong with that? We police are a bit like this." Sarah now understood everything. The whole system was rotten from the inside. These people didn't just wear uniforms, they traded on the helplessness of the poor. She left the station quietly without saying anything, but fire was burning in her eyes. The next morning, Chief Sarah Bennett arrived straight at that precinct in her uniform, driving a government SUV. She had her bodyguard and team with her. Seeing her in uniform at the station gate, the entire staff was stunned. Inside, both Officer Mike and Captain Anderson were present. Fear was clearly visible in their eyes when they saw the girl they had insulted. But today, she was not an ordinary woman. She was the police chief of the entire city. Terrified, both of them said together, "Who are you, and why are you wearing this uniform?" There was now the dignity of an official in Sarah's eyes. She said in a serious voice, "Can't you see the uniform? I am the chief of this city, Sarah Bennett, and now I know everything about how the poor are intimidated in this station, how dollars are extorted, and how torture is carried out in the name of the law." The ground slipped from beneath their feet. Their voices began to tremble with fear. "Ma'am, what are you saying? If you're really the chief, show your ID." Without saying a word, Sarah took out her golden badge and ID card from her pocket and placed them in front of Captain Anderson. Seeing the ID, Anderson's hands started shaking. His face turned pale. Immediately joining his hands and bowing low, he said, "Forgive me, ma'am. I didn't know you were the chief. I made a big mistake." Officer Mike, standing behind, was also cowering in fear. He also joined his hands and said, "Ma'am, please forgive us. Forget what happened. It will never happen again." Both officers stood with their heads bowed in shame, but there was no softness in Chief Sarah's voice. She said sternly, "From today, I am suspending both of you. The law will now take account of everything you have done while wearing the uniform. In this city, the poor will no longer be insulted, and looting behind the cover of the uniform will not continue." Then she ordered the officers behind her, "Arrest these two immediately and file criminal charges against them alongside a strict internal affairs investigation. Today you proved that the badge is a symbol of responsibility, not power. But what you did is neither worthy of a human being nor the law. If I only suspend you today, you will escape punishment and crush some helpless person again, or silence someone's voice." As Sarah was about to move forward, Officer Mike and Captain Anderson almost collapsed at her feet. Shame and fear were evident in their eyes. "Ma'am, give us one last chance. We will really change," Anderson pleaded. Mike also bowed his head and said, "Forgive us, ma'am. I promise such a mistake will not happen in the future. If I do it again, send me to jail." Sarah remained quiet for a while. Then, taking a deep breath, she said in a serious tone, "You will not get forgiveness. You will get justice, but through the law. From today, a case will be filed against you. If your intentions have truly changed, prove it in court. The law is the same for everyone, whether an officer or a common man." Her words echoed in every corner of the station. As she was leaving, Sarah looked at the entire staff and said, "The police uniform is not for scaring people.